Welcome back to Game on the Table. This is Deep Space D-6, Episode 2. To get started, let's roll some threats. Hey, don't panic, that's great. And a fighter. Not much to worry about here. Let's roll. Oh boy. And an immediate scanner. Let's pull up a threat. And we got a nebula. Boy, that's not great. Alright, so shields offline right out the gate. Let's see what we want to do here. Pretty obvious thing. Alright, let's return these. Obvious thing I want to do is deal with this fighter. So let's clear him off the board so I'm not at risk of taking any hull damage. All my shields are offline. And not much I can do here. I guess I could send somebody to the infirmary, and that would let me reassign this die to a tactical, take this nebula offline, get my shields back at 0. So not a great first turn. Let's escalate. Boarding ship. Boarding ship is rough. A lot of health, does 2 damage, and once I clear it with an away mission, it's still going to send somebody to the infirmary. So that's really frustrating. Let's roll the threat die, see if I get hit. And on a 4, I do get hit. I suffer 2 hull damage, and unfortunately my shields are down at 0. Alright. Not a great first round, despite getting a no panic in my initial my initial threat pool. Alright, again, pretty rough. 2 scanners right out the gate. Obviously, gotta get my shields back. And I've really gotta just do some damage to this guy. Let's ping him down. Wow. Would it make more sense to ping him down or just send somebody to the infirmary? Ironically, locking up more die, but then making it a little easier for me, or a little more valuable to me, to assign a medical unit and get everybody back from the infirmary. Let's give it a shot. You kind of gotta ride your luck here. I'm only gonna get to roll 2 die next turn, but that neutralizes this threat, but sends my tactical to the infirmary. Alright, let's escalate. We've got a mercenary. If no threats activated this round, does 2 hull damage. Unfortunately, it's the only threat, meaning no other threats are going to activate. I can roll this for show, but nothing activates. Therefore, I take 2 hull damage from this mercenary. Alright. Could really use a medical officer here. And no such luck. I've got a tactical and I've got a scientist. Let's see. So I can do something a little cheesy. I can send somebody to the infirmary using this special infirmary action, and that will allow me to change one other available unit face to a medical officer, which I will then use to return all units from the infirmary, getting my dice pool back up to 4. Unfortunately, that means I'm sitting here without responding to these threats. So let's escalate. Ooh, friendly fire. And thankfully, I don't actually have any assigned tactical dice. These dice don't really count. They're just sitting in the return pool. So let's discard friendly fire. That did a number on me in the first episode here. I had just assigned 3 tactical dice and gotten them all hit. So let's... Oh, I've just escalated. Got to roll for threat even though there's nothing there. Another 3. No other threats activate, so the mercenary does do 2 more damage to me. Shields back at 0. But thankfully, I've now got 4 crew to roll this turn. Let's see what we can do. Alright. Scientist to recharge my shield. So that's kind of a no-brainer. Really just gotta do it. Let's just play what we've got. Let's repair the hull by 1 point, bringing me back up to 7. I'll use a tactical officer to ping this mercenary down to 2 health. And then I'll actually use leftover scientist as a stasis beam, preventing any more damage from coming out this turn. Alright, let's escalate. We've got a strike bomber, and this is a really nasty one. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but 1/3 chance to send somebody to the infirmary, which is a real pain. And a 6. I think we're in the clear this turn. Alright, let's gather up my assigned die and roll crew. Interesting, interesting, interesting. I think it's about time I get my dice back. So I'm going to unlock these 2 threats with these 2 medical officers. Use one commander to tell the other commander to do a little damage. So let's get this strike bomber down to 1 health. I really don't like having those on the board. Alright, escalation. Shield platform. Oh, that's rough. So basically, the way a shield platform works is I've got to do damage to it. Basically clear it off the board before I can do damage to any other external threats. Let's roll for activation. A 5. And no other threats activated, so the mercenary does do 2 damage to me. Alright, but for the first turn, since I want to say turn 1 or 2, got all 6 dice back. Let's see what we got. Well, that's a heck of a lot of science. Let's see here. I think the smart thing to do would just be to play our dice. I think we've got a really nice spread here. Do 1 damage, take the strike bomber off the board. Let's use an engineer to get my hull point back. Use 1 of my 4 scientists to get my shields recharged. And then I'm just going to stasis beam. And this guy will go to returned since I can't really use him. Let's escalate. I think we've got the board pretty well covered right now. Panel explosion. So I can't place any engineers until I resolve this with a medical officer. That's kind of a nasty one. And then well, I can roll, but there's nothing that can activate. Alright. Let's see what we can do here. Ooh, 1 more scanner lock, down to 5 die. Hopefully we can just immediately resolve that with a medical officer. I think that's probably the smart thing to do. Don't need this engineer, but I can use this medical officer to resolve this panel explosion. And then it might be smart to use this commander, reassign this engineer to tactical duty, and then I can do 3 damage, clearing... Oh, that's right. I made a goof. I can't take this guy off the board. I can only do damage to the shield platform. So let's rewind time a little bit. Gosh, and I hope I didn't roll something that activated the strike bomber. I'll go back and check. Alright, so I checked, and yes, the strike bomber would have activated. I did roll a 2 there, so I rewound a little bit. So I'm going to take 1 hull point of damage, send this unit to the infirmary. Doesn't really matter which one it was. And then now I'm going to roll for this turn. So basically going to redo that last turn as if things had been done correctly the previous turn. And I still lock a unit, so that's still rough. Let's see here. Let's use 1 commander to reassign this engineer to tactical. Basically, I'm going to still try to do the same thing. Assign these 2 tactical, gives me 3 damage to spread out. I'll do 2 to the shield platform and 1 to the strike bomber, legally this time. And then I've got 1 commander that I really can't use, so he just goes return. So that is a significantly worse turn, but it is fair. Alright, let's escalate. We've got Solar Winds. So Solar Winds has a little asterisk here. Doesn't actually have any health. It just waits for the next 2, and as soon as the 2 is rolled on a threat die, I take 5 damage, and this threat is cleared. Alrighty. Let's roll for threat. And of course, Let's activate the solar winds. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bit of damage. Clear this off the board. Since solar winds did activate as an external threat, mercenaries don't. And I think that's it. Let's roll my 4 crew and see what I can do. Oof. Alright, 2 more scanners. Brings out an immediate new threat. We got a scout that does additional damage if I lost hull at all. And yeah, that's just terrible. I guess the right side is I do get these dice back. They're unlocked from the scanner, but boy, it's a price to pay. Alright, let's see here. Definitely need to just get my shields back up and do a little damage. I think the mercenary is a lot more threatening than the scout right now. Let's escalate. So this is a rescue mission, and rescue missions don't have either the internal or external threat symbol on them because they're actually good for me. They're a thing I can do to get a benefit, but that also means I have to immediately draw a different threat for that round. And we get a robot uprising. So this is a little rough. Things are exploding in engineers' faces, and I've got robots uprising. And these 2 internal threats kind of combo off each other. Until I can resolve this panel explosion, I can't actually address this robot uprising, which activates half the time. Really not great. Got to try to resolve that next round. You know what? Before I roll my die, so let's put those back. I have to roll for threat. Got a little distracted. Well, thankfully, Robot Uprising doesn't activate, but that does mean the Mercenary does, doing 2 damage. And because the Mercenary did damage, or I lost hull, the Scout's going to activate and do 1 more point of damage to me. Alright. Lock you up here. I think the smart thing to do here is clear the panel explosion, which would allow me to address the robot uprising if I had the dice. And maybe I do. Maybe I want to deal with that. Maybe I don't. Let's see. I think the smart thing to do would be assign this 1 tactical, clear the mercenary off the board. And I am sitting with 1 point of shield, but it might make sense to use this officer to reassign this medical crew member to engineering, clear the robot uprising, and negate any potential sending units to the infirmary, which is a real pain. Well, let's escalate. Oh, distracted. Gonna lose a unit anyway. Distracted is a rough one. Basically, I can't re-roll that die until I get distraction resolved with either 2 medical officers or I roll a 4-3 on activation. So let's roll right now. Maybe I'll get lucky. Nope, rolled a 1. Nothing activates, but I am still stuck with only 3 dice. Alright, tactical commander, scientist. Probably a good idea to get my shields back up while I got some breathing room. And can't really use this commander for anything. Probably smart to just start dealing with this scout. Let's do 1 damage here. We'll escalate. Don't panic. Nothing happens, thankfully. And because these don't panics have the internal threat symbol on them, I don't have to draw another card. Alright, let's roll for threat. Maybe I'll get lucky and get my distracted medical officer back. A 2, which means no, I don't get this officer back. Alright. Let's gather up my 3 available crew. Lock 1 in a scanner immediately. And let's fire lasers. And let's return from the infirmary. I know I could also unlock one of the scanners, but if I roll a 3rd scanner, I'll get all those dice back nothing will automatically give me back units in the infirmary. So let's do that. Ooh, another strike bomber. Never what you want to see. Let's roll threat. A 4. So this is ironic. So I am going to return this unit and discard because I did activate. But I'm also going to take 1 hull damage and send a unit to the infirmary. So the unit is effectively still locked. That's really frustrating. Alright, let's roll my 3. And like I was saying, a 3rd scanner immediately gets those, or not immediately, gets those dice back next round and brings a new threat out. So let's do that. A destroyer doesn't do a lot of damage, or sorry, doesn't take a lot of damage to clear, but does a ton, and that's never good. Let's see, what would the smart thing be to do here? As much as some of these other things are frustrating, the scout is one of those units that just does damage all the time, and I really want to get that off the board because the way you die in this game is by letting things build and build and build to the point where you can't possibly clear the board, and any threat roll is going to do too much damage. So you kind of want to keep clearing threats off the table. Let's escalate. Nothing happens. By the way, I'm playing with 6 of those in the deck right now. I think if I win on the channel, I'll start removing some of those cards. Make the game a little harder, but for right now, I kind of need them. Alright. Oh, sorry, I escalated. I need to roll threat. A 3. So that destroyer is going to activate and do 1, 2, 3 points of damage. And thankfully I cleared the scout, so I'm not taking extra. Alright, that's an interesting pool. Let's see what we can do. Definitely need to get my shields all the way back online. Wouldn't be bad. Get that hull point back. I know it seems like I'm overemphasizing healing and repairing, but you'd be amazed at how quickly you can lose health once some of these threat activation numbers start doubling up and threats start coming out faster. So let's bring units back from the infirmary. Bring all my dice back into the pool. Let's then use our medical officer to get this card, which will allow me to, at the time of my choosing, look at the next 5 cards in the threat deck. In fact, well, you know what? I'm not under dire need. Let's not worry about that until we've got a lot of stuff out on the board. Can't use this commander. I've assigned everybody else. So he goes returned. Let's escalate. Hey, just a fighter. But as you can see, this fighter and the strike bomber have a huge amount of overlap, or their activations overlap. So a 2 or a 4 is extra bad. Like that. So this 4, strike bomber is going to activate, do 1 whole point of damage, send somebody to the infirmary, and this fighter is going to do 1 more point of damage. So you can see how quick things can change. Things can really swing back and forth at you. Alright, let's lock this scanner die. I think it makes sense to try to clear that strike bomber. I really don't like extra ways to lock die on the table. So let's reassign this medical officer to tactical. Do 3 damage. So that's 1, 2. And then might as well ping this destroyer and get him ready. And then, just for safety, we'll get our shields recharged all the way back to full. Let's escalate. Space pirates. Oh boy. So here is where things get really nasty. If you look at my threat combination, the only thing that won't activate and do damage to me is a 5. So really got to deal with situations like this quickly so that you don't get just pinged and pinged and pinged all the way down. Let's roll for threat. Roll to 6. Thankfully, it's just 1 unit activating. That does 2 damage to me. pull up my crew. Let's see what we can do. Yikes. Okay, so these two scanners immediately pull a threat, and it's raiders who ignore shields when they're doing damage. I do get those dice returned, and then I have to lock that scanner up there too. So I've only got one die to place here, and I think the only thing I can think to do is either return from the scanner or return from the infirmary. And, you know, I might take back what I said last time and pull out of the scanner, because I really can't afford more threats coming out quickly. Alright, let's escalate. An assault cruiser, that's never what you want to see. It's not really that threatening, but because it's got 4 health, it's really hard to get rid of in a single turn, and so it ends up sitting on the board for a long time. Alright, let's roll for threat. We've got a 4, which is pretty dang bad. Let's do 2 points of damage off the shields. Raiders activate and ignore shields, but I don't have any, so I do 1 damage here. My fighter's going to activate, do 1 damage here, or not my fighter. And I guess that's it. I guess you can say that's it. And you know what? This might be a good time to discard my telepath, and let's look at the next 5 threats. So we've got a Don't Panic coming, which is nice. We've got an assault cruiser, and so having 2 of those on the board just makes 4s and 5s incredibly dangerous. A pandemic, which is a new way to get something into the infirmary. An interceptor, which doesn't do a lot of damage but activates all the time. And cloaked threats. Wow, really not looking forward to dealing with any of that. Alright, let's put those back here. I think the main lesson there is that if I need to spend a turn just getting my shields back, maybe I can afford to. Because I do have this Don't Panic coming up on the next turn after I roll and assign. So that might be the thing to do, although I probably would have done it anyway. I'm not in good shape in terms of defenses. Wow. Okay. Gonna need to use that Don't Panic sooner than anticipated. That Don't Panic activates. And definitely need to repair hull. Really could have used a scientist this turn, but I don't know if I'm going to get one. So I guess I will bring that die back into the pool. We'll bring out that assault cruiser in an escalation. And we'll roll. And honestly, if we get a 4, we might be done. Hey, a 6. Okay. That's just Space Pirates. Take 2 hull points of damage. But finally, got all 6 dice back. Be great not to get 6 scanners. Hopefully I'm not jinxing myself. Alright, that's not great, but it's not terrible. Let's lock that one up. Don't need all of these. Let's use these 2 commanders. I'm going to reassign 1 medical to the shields. Get me 4 points of health back right away. Assign 1 to tactical. And let's clear the destroyer off the board, because that's a lot of damage for 1/3 chance. And then let's use medical officer, unlock that scanner, and set me up for an okay next turn. Let's see what happens. This is really how this goes. All right, I already knew that. There's really nothing I can roll that won't result in a problem. Really like to avoid a 1. Really like to avoid 4s and 5s. And there's a 1. So let's send somebody to the infirmary because of the pandemic. Let's do 1 point of hull damage, ignoring shields, which is really scary now. And that should do it. Let's roll our 5 dice, and could really use some good rolls here. Alright, that's not bad. I can use that. Let's definitely get 3 hull points back. 1, 2, 3. Let's definitely bring this... Well, actually, let's resolve the pandemic. I really want to get things that send things to the infirmary off the board. Let's stasis up something, I think is the right call. No, let's reassign with an officer. Let's do some damage. Let's start bringing this raiders down. Well, that's a thought. Might be simplest just to clear one more threat off the board. One less thing that can activate. Alright. Here's that interceptor. Activates basically all the time. Let's roll for threat. We got a 5. That's 2 from the cruiser. 2 from the cruiser. 1 from the interceptor. And that's it. Really got to take care of these assault cruisers, but it's kind of hard to find the time. Alright, what do we got here? We have got... let's think. What do we feel like doing here? Well, we certainly want to do that. That's kind of obvious. I kind of think we gotta take a risk. And let's get damage out onto the board. Use those two. Reassign tactical. And I've got 3 points of damage here. I could either clear an interceptor, or I could clear one of these 2 health threats and ping something else. I could also bring an assault cruiser way down. I think what I want to do is clear this ignores shields raiders off, so 1, 2 points of damage. And then I think I want to bring an assault cruiser down and make it a little, put it within striking distance. It's not that hard to get 2 tactical officers in a turn. It's pretty rare for me to get 3. So, and before I gather up my die, obviously I have to escalate. Here's that cloaked threats again. And let's roll for threat. Another 5. We got 2 from our assault cruiser. 2 from our assault cruiser. 1 from the interceptor. Sorry, I should have done it in that opposite order. Should have gone assault cruiser, interceptor, assault cruiser. It doesn't matter this time, but that's the order it's supposed to go. Left to right, top to bottom. And that's it for the activations. Let's roll. Well, that is kind of great. I definitely need to get my shields all the way up. Not as much thinking as last time. And I think as much as I need to repair this hull, I need to do a ton of damage. So let's do 5 damage. 1 + 2 + 2. Let's clear this assault cruiser off the board. That's 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. And that leaves me with 2. Let's clear space pirates, because they're what's kind of covering the spread. They're the 6 activator. Let's get them off the board too. 1, 2 damage. And time for an escalation. Bounty ship. So now we're past the threats we knew were coming. And this is real nasty. So 1/3 chance to destroy all your shields. And especially nasty because, like I said last turn, you go top to bottom, left to right. So this will always activate before any of these other threats down here activate. Meaning, unless you get this health down quickly, anytime this ship activates, it'll be clearing your shields before doing a bunch of damage, as opposed to clearing your shields at the end, which wouldn't be so bad. So let's roll threat. A 6. Which I'm really glad I cleared those space pirates, because that's the only thing that activated on a 6. Let's go. Alright, lock that up. I think smart thing to do here would be to just keep pouring the damage out. Let's assign 2 tactical. Let's bring this bounty ship down. It's the new priority. To 1 health by doing 3 damage. And then let's stasis. Oh, you know what? I have the breathing room. Let's get rid of this, because I don't want to roll a 2 and then re-roll the threat die. That would be terrible. Let's escalate. Don't panic. Glad to see it. And let's roll for threat. A 4. Alright. So Assault Cruiser does 2. 1, 2. Interceptor does 1. Bounty Ship doesn't activate, thankfully. Let's gather up crew and roll. Ooh. Losing units to the scanner is always a bit of a pain. Let's definitely take this damage though. I feel like, you know what? Let's be a little moderate. Let's clear the bounty ship with 1 point of damage, and then let's get our shields back online. That's probably the smart thing to do. There's no reason to hemorrhage hull damage, especially since the interceptor is really likely to activate. Let's escalate. Another don't panic. 5, which would have activated both, or which does activate both, which is why we needed to get our shields back up. 1, 2, and 1. Down to 3 die, so gotta figure something out here. Alright. I think we just, as they say, play our cards. Let's get our shields back. Let's bring some hull back, and let's bring this back from the infirmary. Alright. Escalation. Raiders ignoring the shields again. Roll for threat. 4. Yikes. Everybody activates. So, same thing again. 1, 2, 1 from the interceptor, 1 from the raiders, but they ignore my shields. Alrighty. Alright, and this is why I went for the infirmary rather than unlocking a scanner. As bad as escalating the threats out on the board is, at least I get those dice back. Corsair, standard, 2 health, 2 damage type of unit. Let's see what we got here. Don't really need these medical, so let's send 1 to the infirmary. Let's get a science officer, get my shields back. Let's do some damage. Let's get this interceptor closer to death. I think that's what we need to do. I need to prioritize getting these things off the board. Escalate. That's a rescue mission. Escalate. Orbital cannon. Now this one's a real pain. Basically, I can't do damage to the orbital cannon unless everything else is off the board. So it's just kind of an extra activator all the time. It's real nasty. Let's see what we can do. Roll threat. That's a 3. Skip, skip, skip. Of course the interceptor activates, and then the orbital cannon. That's really not that bad, but that's kind of why I need to get the interceptor off the board. It just activates all the time. Alright, new scanner. Let's get our shields back. Let's do a little damage to the interceptor. And let's stasis beam something. And, I kind of feel like if I'm going to activate or stasis beam something, I'm going to do something that does 2 damage. This one activates more often. So as much as it's not the biggest threat on the board, it's not the thing I'm trying to kill right away, I'm going to stasis beam that. Play the odds. Hopefully, it's kind of like a reverse roulette. Alright, a 6, which would have activated there, thankfully. This ignores shields. That's not great. Everything else doesn't activate. Gonna need to repair this hull soon. Let's see what we got. We got more threats. That's just how this game rolls. A warbird only does 1 damage, but it does sorry, it only takes 1 damage, but it does 3 hull points of damage and ignores shields. So 1 hit from that, an activation this turn, if I don't do something to my hull points, which I will, would kill me outright. So let's repair the hull. Takes me back up to 4. Let's do 1 damage. And honestly, like a 6 or a 4 with these two combined just kills us. So let's get this guy off the board. No messing around. Well, let's escalate. Boost morale. Interesting. And that's an internal threat, so I don't have to draw another card. Yeah. Let's roll for threat. It's a 1, which thankfully just does 1 point of damage to my shields. Alright, that was the quiet night. If you've ever played Pandemic, that's the one quiet night I needed. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Oops, sorry, that was an engineer. Let's definitely take the interceptor off the board, finally. Let's, well, what should we do? Let's get the hull back. 1 more point. Let's definitely, you know, it's only 1 point, but let's do it. Let's get that back. A 4 or a 6 could be real devastating right now. And then let's stasis beam some stuff, since I really don't want to send more stuff to the infirmary. Let's cover you, and let's cover you, because you ignore my shields. Alright. Oh, you know what? Well, let's do that. And then, well, I guess the fair thing to do is just let that let that roll ride. And it's a 4, and it's bad. So that's 4 points of damage right there. Cruiser 2, Hijackers 2. Nobody else activates, so I might have gotten away with something there. Let's get these 5 dice up. Let's get my shields back online. Well, that's really not what I wanted to do. Let's roll another threat out here. Cosmic existentialism. Excuse me. Must be completed before you assign any other science crew. In other words, I can't recharge my shields until this is resolved. That's really bad, because I was going to use Miss Commander to get my shields back online, and I can't, so that might just do it. Anything tricky I can do? I don't think so. I need to... Well, it's a debate between use this pair of dice to reassign this engineer to science, clear this off the board so that next turn I get my shields back online if I survive, or do one point of repair on my hull, hoping I'll survive. So let's take a look. Let's see here. We got, if I roll a 4, 2, 4, 6, and that's game. If I roll a 5, 2, 4, 6, and that's game. If I roll a 6, 1, 2, 3, that's not too bad, I can survive. Or if I, well, so basically if I roll a 4 or 5, that's it, game over. 1/3 chance. 1/3 chance to lose a game right here. But, yeah. And rolling a 4 or 5, 1 whole point's not really going to help me. Let's reassign this guy to science. Let's clear the cosmic existentialism. Wow, that was a rough card to draw right then. And then here we go. Oh, actually, you know what? Before I roll a threat, I gotta escalate one more time. Alright. 4 or 5, and that's game over. A 3. I think I can survive a 3. Yeah, the only thing that activates is the orbital cannon. 1 point of hull damage. That is how you play Deep Space D6. Sometimes you gotta try to figure out the odds and just give it a shot. So, all right, we could really use some science officers here. Yes, this is what we needed. Get my shields back. I'm not even thinking too hard. Get my hull back up. 1, 2, 3. And then let's do 1 point of damage to something. I think what we want to clear is this Corsair, because now it's at the widest spread and it still does 2 damage. And let's use this medical officer, bring my dice pool back up to 6. That's about as good as I could do, I think. Well, would I rather rescue this soldier here, which would let me clear a scanner? No, I think I want my dice pool back up to 6. I really need to, basically, to survive this messed up situation, I'm going to need to build up a big pool of die that either I want to try to take turns where I repair my ship, do a lot of damage, repair my ship, do a lot of damage, etc. Let's see here. Let's escalate. Strike bomber. Ooh, hate seeing these things in the deck. Let's roll for threat and see what happens. A 5. That's no good. 2 damage. 1, 2. 2 damage. 1, 2. 2 damage. 1, 2. All right. Now, if I could get some damage out, that would be something. I really need to clear some of this stuff off the board. Scanner's not really what we're looking for. I think, well, I'm definitely going to do this 3 damage. 1, clear this Corsair. 1, 2, clear the strike bomber. Keep people out of the infirmary. Might be good to rescue this soldier, which would allow me to clear scanners on a turn. And I think I really need to just, well, yeah, let's get the shields back up. That's probably the smart thing to do here, so I can absorb that damage. Let's escalate. 2 space pirates. Alright, sorry, not 2 space pirates, 2 health space pirates. Hate to see it. Let's roll. A 6. On a 6, we skip the top row. The raiders do 1 damage to me through my shields. Space pirates do 2 damage. And ooh, return a lot scanner die and discard because this activated. That's fine with me. Let's get my now 6-person crew back in action, hopefully, and keep them in action. You know what? I'm not going to use that for there. I'm not going to use this yet. Let's definitely get my shields back up. Let's definitely reassign this guy to do a little bit of damage. And let's get the raiders down, because you ignore my shields. Let's restore that hull point. And let's unlock that die so I can keep it rolling. Alright, getting low on the threat deck. That's a good thing, but also, oh boy, here's a flagship. Let's see. That's really bad. Let's roll. A 4. This could be bad. Alright. 1, 2 from the cruiser. 2 from the hijackers. 3. 1, 2, 3 from the flagship. And 1 from the raiders, ignoring hull. So I am down to my last hull point. We are in a bad way. Let's pull something great out here. Alright. That's not really it. Do I want to re-roll this one scan die. I think I don't. I think I want to bring my shields all the way back up. I think I definitely need to repair one hull point. I definitely need to do 1 damage to get these raiders off the board. Oh boy. And I think I actually want to send someone to the infirmary, do an additional 2 damage, bring this flagship down. I need to get that off the board. It's too big a hit, and 4s are way too dangerous right now. Alright. Okay. Getting to the bottom of this deck is a little hard. Corsair. That's a pretty bad spread. Let's activate. No 4s, please. A 2. Maybe we can get by with a 2. Hey, nothing activates. Okay. It's been a while. Okay. Let's get some engineers and some damage. That will kind of work. Alright. I think I need to fire some lasers. I need to get 1, 2, this flagship off the board. I need to, well, what do you think? Let's do 1. I want to get rid of this Corsair because it overlaps with the hijackers and the assault cruiser in terms of his activations, and that's no good. Let's bring you back. Well, let's unlock. It's as much as it would be nice to get all my dice back, I really can't accelerate the threats out more. A 6. No. 2 points from the Space Pirates. 1, 2. 2 points from the Corsair. And that's it. I'm really glad I got this flagship off the board last turn, because I'd be done. Alright. Let's roll these 5. Alright. I think what I want to do, well, obviously I need to get my shields back. I absolutely need to start building my hull back. And I think it's important I do more damage. I don't use the stasis beam all that often. Basically, it's really low on my priority list, but I think I just need to clear threats off the board. That is the most important thing for me to do right now, especially since they're still coming out once a turn. Cons offline. You hate to see it. No 4s, no 4s. Hey, it's a 5. 5s are just as bad as 4s. Let's 1, 2, 2 from the assault cruiser, 1, 2 from the hijackers. Nobody else activates. We're hanging in there, but just barely. Hey, alright. Let's recharge the shields. Let's definitely fire lasers. I think what I need to do is start chunking down. I want to say the assault cruiser is probably next, so let's do 1 damage there. Let's stasis beam said assault cruiser, and let's unlock this threat die. I really got to deal with that comms offline, but no easy ways to get an engineer when you didn't roll one right now, except using the infirmary, and I really can't afford that. Let's roll a 2. 2s are actually okay. Just the interceptor. 1 point of damage on my shields. And that's it. Alright, great. We're making progress here. We're making progress. Alright, let's lock you up. Let's do 3 points of damage Take the assault cruiser off the board. That feels good. Sorry, 1, 2, 3 off the board. Let's unlock a die, and then let's take a little break. You know what? No. Let's just, every little point kind of matters right now. Let's activate. There's a fighter. I think I've only got a couple of threat deck cards left, which is a real shame because as soon as that, let me show you the rule. As soon as that threat deck is over, basically put the Ouroboros cards into play when the threat deck is depleted. So, not saying when the external threats are depleted, but when the deck is depleted, meaning the turn after I draw the last threat, I'm gonna play the boss cards into into the threat zone, and I'm not ready for it. There's too much stuff on the board. Yeah. What did I just do? Okay, let's roll for threat. A 6. Skip. Space Pirates do 2 shield points, and nobody else activates. Alright, really need to do some damage right now. Get some stuff off the board. Let's go. Hey, not bad. Let's clear comms offline so I can place commanders again. Let's definitely do 3, 4, 5 bits of damage. And let's go 1, 2. So 1, 2. Clear the Space Pirates. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Clear the Interceptor. And that's looking a lot more manageable now. Let's Time Warp. Time Warp's really bad to have at the end of the game. You really don't want to be fighting the boss with the Time Warp active. Let's roll for threat. A 4. Thankfully 4s aren't as bad as they used to be, but they're still bad. 1, 2. And 1 from the fighter. So I'm still in pretty bad shape, but hopefully I can get some damage out. Ooh, okay, let's lock this up. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Let's bring my shields back, and let's just ride. Let's just try to ride this one out. Alright, here we go. Invaders. That one's kind of nasty. Can't really afford to do any of that. And coming out next turn is the boss. So, 5, 2 points, 1, 2. Nobody else activates, which is an incredible stroke of luck. Let's roll. Okay. That is terrible. Let's discard and re-roll these 2. That's a lot better. Well, it's not great because 1, 2, 3 don't really need any more engineers. But let's definitely commander, and we will fire lasers, and let's clear one of these things off the board because I'm noticing 1, 2, 3 threats activating on 2s is a real pain. 1, 2, 3 activating on 4s. Clearing this off with 1 point of damage is a really easy way to lessen the number of things that can activate. And then it's time for the boss to come out, which is, boy, a real pain. So we've got a barrier, an attack matrix. Let's see here, we've got Hydra cannons, missile array, Hydra cannons, and the Ouroboros core. And you can see the cards kind of line up to make this really cool pattern that shifts around as you do damage to it. So this is the end game. Let's see if I can get through it. Let's roll threat. It's real nasty. This in my experience, it's really easy for the boss to just take you out in a single turn, no matter what you do. So let's see. A 3. Skip, skip, skip. -2 hull. 1, 2. Skip, skip, skip. Ooh, attack matrix while active. Roll this dice a second time. 3, 1, 2. And we roll one more time. And it's a 2, and that's rough. So that means everything recovers 1 health. 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1. Thankfully or not, everything's at full health, so nothing requires on the time warp. Invaders, send somebody to the infirmary. That is terrible. Now let's come over here. Skip, 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 skip. -2 hull. 1, 2. And skip, skip, skip. So that's pretty terrible. A little hard to figure out what the right thing to prioritize right now is with my 3 dice. Definitely, I would say I need to bring my shields back. Absolutely. I absolutely need to bring my shields back. I can't fathom surviving a turn without it. And then let's use this die to replenish my pool, and hopefully I can make it through. So, roll for threat. 6. Send a unit to the infirmary. When destroyed, Ouroboros is defeated. Alright, send a unit to the infirmary. And then, does anything else activate on 6? Nothing does, but the attack matrix means I gotta roll this twice. And a 2 basically would heal anything, send something back to the infirmary. Jeez. Do 2 hull damage, that's shields, and that's it. Alright. Not really sure what I'm gonna do. Ooh, that's a bad shape. Let's recharge. And let's do a bit of damage. I definitely need to get this barrier down, because if I want to attack the core and therefore defeat all of Ouroboros and clear all of these cards off the map, I gotta get rid of the barrier first. Alrighty. Let's roll threat. 1. Nothing here, nothing here. The meteoroid takes 1 health of damage. -2 hull off the shields. -2 hull off the shields. Oof. And that's it. And let's roll the threat die one more time for the attack matrix. Same deal. Ooh, I think this is it. This takes 1 point of damage. 1, 2. And the Hydra Cannons finally sneak the last point of damage in, and I am done. Ooh, that was, I'm not going to say that was close. I'm not going to say that I was close to winning, but that might have been the longest I've ever survived against the boss. I think usually I'm wiped in a turn or 2, so that was pretty cool. Well, thanks for watching. If you made it all the way this far, please hit that like button. It helps tell YouTube that you like what I'm doing and that you want to see more of it, and that you want other people to see it too. You can also subscribe if you haven't. That also helps me out a lot too. And you can, leave a comment. I try to read them, and, let me know what you're thinking of the series. This has been Game on the Table, Deep Space D6, Episode 2. Thanks for watching.